Hello, welcome to SOWRYA Consultancy YouTube channel. Today we have a special guest joining us from Middle Tennessee State University. They'll be answering a wide array of questions from university rankings, programs, requirements and scholarship. Let's dive in right away and make most of this insightful session. Hello sir.
Hello, thank you for inviting me.
Sir, can you please introduce yourself and what is your role at Middle Tennessee State University?
Yes, my name is John Wilson. I am an international student recruiter. I've had 30 years plus in international education. I've been a provost for international programs, but this is sort of my late career job, and so I only work with recruiting international students.
Okay. Sir, every year lakhs of students are going to USA for various universities to study their higher education. As an American citizen, what you will answer, why study in USA?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a fair question. So students, international students have lots of options. So it's not like it was when I was an international student. It's different. They're much more sophisticated. There are many, many more options, both in terms of academics, finances. I still believe that the education in the U.S. is particularly at the undergrad and grad level, is still of a very high quality. It's one of the best education they can receive. Financially, it can be a little more expensive, but I think for the quality of education, the opportunity, the options that it provides students, it's still the best education throughout the world. I particularly am impressed with Middle Tennessee. It's my alma mater. We live in a state where there is a very low cost of living. We give good scholarships and we have world-class academics. And so for all of those reasons, our destination is a fantastic option for students. It's not a really well-known option, but it is an option that international students from India should consider.
Okay. So we have hundreds and hundreds of universities in USA.
Yes.
So why a student should consider Middle Tennessee to?
Yeah, another fair question. Students, again, have lots of options. They have to look at not just financials, not just scholarships. They have to look at academics. They have to look at the social life on campus. They want to look at OPT opportunities, all of the things where students feel comfortable and realize this is the best fit for them. MTSU it addresses all those issues. We are very student-centered. We support international students. We do not just look at them as a big financial paycheck, tuition check. We look after them. We provide them with the support, the advisement that they need to be successful. We offer them all the tools to be successful. We have amazing facilities, high-tech labs, all the things that are there that will ensure their success. We provide them from the very beginning an academic advisor, an international student advisor, career options. We also provide them with dedicated OPT and CPT advisors that will allow them to work after their four-year program. So all of those reasons come together to provide a really great destination. Cost of living in Tennessee is low. We provide good scholarships, $16,000 maximum, but that pays about 65% of their tuition. Students, we will help them work on campus. Almost all international students will work on campus.
Okay.
Combining all of that with the support they get, it's a good option. They can work, get the scholarship, probably at zero tuition if they do all of those things.
Okay. So where is this university located and how this location will help an Indian student?
Yeah, so Tennessee is, again, it's not California, it's not New York City or Boston. It's not one of the well-known states. It's not a big city like Chicago or New York or LA. It's a small state. It's located in the southeastern part of the United States, but centrally located. The university is only about 20 minutes from a large international airport in Nashville. Nashville is the biggest city in Tennessee. It's the capital. It is known for music. It's called Music City, USA. It's one of the biggest music centers in the United States. We're only 20 minutes from campus. Campus is in a small town called Murfreesboro. It's a small town, but very safe, very friendly, very welcoming. We've been hosting international students since the 1960s. And so they are all respected, valued, and appreciated on campus. They do not stand out as being something special. They are an integral part of the university. As specific to India, though, there is a large Indian community in Nashville, in the Murfreesboro area. There are restaurants, shops, all of those things which will make Indian students feel at home. Ms. Rima was our in-country rep, was just there last month, and she was quite impressed with the number of restaurants surrounding the campus. So 20 minutes outside of Nashville, but a small town that's safe and welcoming is the key takeaway.
So as you mentioned that you have Indian communities, how many Indian students are currently studying in the university?
There are around 150 Indian students currently on campus, and the numbers are rising. The applications are skyrocketing. We need to turn those applications into yields and conversions, and so we're working on that. The numbers are growing. The international student population, the Indians are number one currently at 150 international students, fairly divided between undergrads and grads.
Okay.
Just a few more grads.
Right. So every Indian parent will spend lakhs of rupees for their children's higher education.
Oh, yes, of course.
Here the accreditations and rankings will play a great role.
Right.
So where does this MTSU stands?
Yeah, another really good question, fair question. International students always want to know that.
Yeah.
So in the United States, the ranking system is a little bit different from the rest of the world. We are ranked by U.S. News and World Report. We're in the top 350 of American public schools. And you may say, well, that's not very impressive, 350, but when you consider there are 5,000 American higher education universities, it is impressive. So our overall ranking is 350 for public universities in the United States. But then what's more important in the US is individual department rankings or college rankings. And some of our programs like business is ranked in the top 3% of all American public universities. We're very proud of that. We work really hard. Our communications program, media, is also in the top 5 ranking among American universities. Our supply chain management also has outstanding business credential rankings. Our music program is considered to be one of the best in the United States because of our connections with Nashville. We think we have the top 1, 2, 3 programs in all of the United States. And then our aviation program also is very high ranked. We think maybe the best aviation program of any university in the US, both a university degree plus professional certification in piloting, airport management, those kind of things. Okay. So there are a number of other programs that have rankings, but again, it's all in our promotional material. It really depends on the college or the program.
Right. So we all know that the university offers a number of programs. So what are the popular programs in terms of job perspective, like the courses that are in demand right now?
Indian students tend to be very practical. They tend to want to do programs where they can immediately get jobs and relatively high-paying jobs. We understand that. I mean, I think that's a really good approach to education. I certainly understand it. So the most popular programs on campus for Indian students would be business programs. We have over 15 different concentrations from anywhere from banking, real estate, finance, management, marketing, economics, actuarial science. So lots of choices for them. They are in a really highly ranked programs. So also a really good program. Also the computer science, data science, information systems, IT, also very international student friendly, taught by many international professors. These programs are full of international students and lots of young international professional professors as well. So we're very proud of that. We have a program called Concrete Industry Management. It's sort of construction and civil engineering that's also very popular with international students from India. Okay. We have engineering technology, mechatronics, also popular with international students. Those tend to be the most popular programs, but again, all of our programs are open to all students, but Indian students particularly want these programs where they immediately are going to find really good high-paying jobs.
Okay. So most of the students would love to work part-time as part of their international exposure or experience. So what kind of support you offer to the students?
Yeah, we work hard to ensure that students can find jobs on campus. Probably 90% of international students will work on campus. It's relatively easy to find a job. Our office will help. There is a career center that post all of the jobs. But our office will help with the logistics, make sure they understand the process. International students must get a social security number in order
Right,
to
yes,
get a
yes.
job. We will help with that as well. They can start working immediately after they arrive on campus. Usually it takes about a week to get the social security number.
Okay.
But there are lots of jobs, thousands of jobs. I have never heard of an international student wanting a job and couldn't find a job on campus. The jobs are in many different areas. They could be in sports management, sports teams. They could be in food services, health clinic, administrative offices, landscaping. The highest paying jobs and the jobs that Indian students tend to want are the computer lab jobs.
Okay.
There is a computer lab in every building on campus. They need students to monitor, to assist in operating those labs. So there are jobs there. They are the highest paying jobs. Most jobs pay anywhere from $9 to $15 per hour. But the computer jobs pay $19 to $20
that's
an hour.
great, sir.
So it's nice. They can only work up to, international students can only work 20 hours a week.
Yes, yes.
But still, if they work full time, they can easily earn, 10 to 15,000 US dollars per year.
Okay, that's great to hear. After completing the studies, would you assist the students in conducting campus fairs or job fairs in the
Right.
campus, to assist them to get a full-time job or convert to OPT?
Right.
Yeah.
Another excellent question. So the campus has a institutional career office that does all of those things you just mentioned, that they conduct workshops on writing applications, conducting interviews to give them help with those kind of tasks, and also a full listing of jobs that might be available to students. But then each individual department as well, they are evaluated on how well they place their graduates into jobs. So they have to be concerned about that. They have to take that very seriously. So they are constantly inviting companies onto campus, interviewing with students. So they work really hard to place students. The international students have a bit of a challenge because they do not have work visas. They only have the study visas. So what we can do for them is to provide them with OPT or CPT. It's not necessary to get into all of the distinctions, but basically it will provide them with a real work experience. CPT is more of an internship. OPT is a real work experience off campus.
Yes.
Where they can work, if it's a STEM subject, up to 3 additional years in the United States. It is a visa extension. So we give them a dedicated advisor beginning in their 3rd year that will help them with all of the paperwork and with the visa,
Right.
extension. It will also help them with placements as well. So we work hard to ensure that they're placed and that they have a successful job experience.
Okay. Sir, as we are discussing with the education fairs and workshop, what is the employability rate of the students? Like what percentage of students will get jobs right away after completing the...
I don't know that I have that information. All I know is anecdotally that I talk to lots of international students when they're in the process of doing their OPT. We have a 90% and above placement for OPT.
Yeah.
And so once the idea with OPT is these international students, particularly the Indian students, bring so many talents to an employer in the United States. They bring not only the job skills and talents, but they bring languages, they bring international experience that, quite frankly, American domestic students do not have. So these students are a real asset to American companies. They have international job skills. They have international problem-solving skills that many American kids do not have. They haven't developed those yet. And so they are a really high value. And the hope is that they're going to be so valuable to these companies where they're doing their OPT, that the company will sponsor them for an H-1B visa, which is a path to U.S. citizenship if that's what they want to do. So they can do the OPT after the undergraduate and after the graduate. So it's a possible 6 years of additional employment.
Okay. So what are the requirements to get into the university? Like what kind of backlogs do you accept and GRE?
Yeah, so Are we talking
Or
just
general,
graduate
yes,
or
yes.
undergraduate?
Graduate. Let's talk about
Graduate, yeah. So they need, we do have an in-country rep for South Asia. She's based in Ahmedabad. And so she will be primarily either their first or second contact. Usually the new applications or they're not applications yet, they're just inquiries, come through me, and then I will direct them either to her or to our other international office team. So what we need from a student, we want really high, outstanding students. But again, these students have lots of options. We can accept for a graduate admissions, we can accept sort of a B average and 80% average, but there is some flexibility. It can be lowered down to about 70%.
Okay.
But the average for international students is around an 80% B average.
Okay.
We ask for no more than 10 backlogs. But again, Miss Doshi can help them work through those issues.
Work on profile to profile.
That's right.
Okay.
We try to remove obstacles the most we can because again, these students have lots of options.
Right.
So many of our programs do not require GRE or GMAT, which I personally do not think is a really good indicator of student success. And the best thing is that most of our most popular programs for international students, Indian students, do not require GRE or GMAT. So the computer science, data science, information system, engineering tech, concrete industry management, mechatronics do not require GRE or GMAT.
Right.
So that's a good thing. Now there are some programs, some of the business programs will also exempt them. Some has it as a requirement, but they may very well negotiate it with them if they have a higher GPA for their undergraduate studies. It's possible they will waive it, or if they have significant work experience, it's also possible they will waive the GMAT or GRE. So we do try to do that, and we try to be very conscious that we're really trying to recruit these students.
Okay. So what is the application fee to apply to the university?
There is a $50 application fee.
Okay.
It's non-refundable, and unfortunately it cannot be waived.
Right.
However, there are promotions throughout the year that the graduate college will operate, and they promote it through social media, and sometimes through me and sometimes through our South Asia representatives. So occasionally there is a waiver, but for the most part it's a $50 fee. And what that gets the student, it gets some access to Miss Doshi. It also gets them access to our entire international admissions team, the international admissions analysts, who will work with them step by step through the application process.
Okay. So what is an average tuition fee for graduates?
Yeah, so
graduate programs.
So graduate studying in the U.S. is expensive, no question about it. So our tuition for a graduate student is around $27,000 US per year, per academic year. That would include 2 semesters. So $27,000 US. All right, so to help offset that, we do offer scholarships.
Yes.
Up to $16,000 in scholarship funding.
Okay.
So if they can get the full scholarship, it is based on their undergraduate GPA.
Okay.
If they can get the $16,000, they're looking at around $10,000 additional funding. And as we mentioned earlier, there are lots of jobs on campus that will pay more than $10,000 that pays that remainder.
Yeah. So that is very affordable. Even you are providing scholarships also. So the scholarship depends upon the graduate percentage?
Yes.
Like undergraduate percentage?
That's right.
Okay.
That's correct. So it needs to be, there's a scale using a 4.0 average. It needs basically, they need sort of a 3.0, 80% average in order to be admitted, but they need high and 90% average in order to get the scholarship.
Right. So do you have any success story of any Indian student that finished their graduation at the university?
Well, anecdotally, I know lots of Indian students that have completed their studies and had a marvelous experience at MTSU. I'm thinking of one young woman, beautiful young woman, came from somewhere near Delhi, really fell in love with campus, participated in all of the clubs. There are over 300 different clubs on campus. She was involved in sports. She really blossomed and bloomed on campus. She got involved in the student government, was very successful in that as well. She was, the last I heard from her, she was working in Nashville in one of the big tech companies that's located, a subsidiary in Nashville. So there are a lot of these stories. We unfortunately, I'm mainly on the road and I'm not on campus as much as I should be. And so I don't have the contact with students after they've applied and after they become students. But anecdotally, I can connect them. We do a service called Unibuddy, and we can provide students with other international students for advice and to talk about how things work on campus, and we can connect them with other Indian students if that's what they'd like.
Okay, good to know, sir. Like safety and security is another major concern for our students. So what kind of measures and how do you support the students on and off campus?
Yeah.
For girls especially who are planning to come.
Yeah, so a real concern about studying in the United States, not just from Indian parents, but from all parents and students around the world, because they see stories about gun violence and discrimination and all of those things. And so we know it's a concern. We do our best, to protect students on campus. It is a small town. It's small town means it's normally safe. I see students out walking late at night, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, because it's cooler and comfortable for them. There is a very active public security that has a real presence all around campus. In fact, when Ms. Rima Ms. Doshi visited us in January, one of the things she wanted to see was the public safety office. Okay. And so she was able to meet with officers to talk about what kind of issues international students might have. And that was really interesting for me as well, because there is virtually no crime on campus. They have a really powerful presence. There are call boxes throughout campus as well. So we do our best. There are no guarantees, but we do our best to ensure that students are safe on campus. Most international students, the first year or two, will live on campus. And so that's part of the security team that covers those areas. But even the ones that move off campus, it's still within walking distance. It's still very close to campus.
Okay. So one more thing is, what are the accommodation options and what kind of support you give to first-time travelers, because they don't know anyone in the city? Yeah.
Well, we don't require students to live on campus, but we want them to, particularly undergrads, the first year or two. Yeah. But there is housing on campus for both undergrads and grads. If they choose to live on campus, it's all inclusive. And so we will provide the housing and we will provide a food plan for them. And so they have to accept those services. So one of the great things about living in Tennessee, as I mentioned earlier, the cost of living is much lower in Tennessee than in California or New York City or Boston. Okay. So a student can live on our campus with an unlimited food plan for about $8,000 US per academic year. Okay. That's unheard of, $8,000 US. If they were in California or New York City, it's $20,000 US and above. Right. So students really have to look at that to understand that, because they may not. Every state is a little bit different. But so we can give them a place to live. It's generally the roommate situation where they are sharing a dorm room. But there are other kinds of rooms as well. They do have the possibility of a single room. Okay. They're more expensive. Then there's community style living, which they would have their own room, but they share kitchen, bathrooms, a common area as well. So there are several different combinations. There are some dorms that are only for boys, some are only for girls, some are mixed. Okay. And so they have a little bit of choice in deciding this. We prefer that students will live on campus the first year or two, but if they want to live off campus, they can do that. We do give them support. There is a housing office. They will get a link with available housing options. And they can live, honestly, cheaper off campus because they'll have a roommate. They're sharing food, sharing rent. But we don't do all the things that we do for them if they're off campus. They're completely under the MTSU umbrella if they live on campus. Off campus, they have a little more freedom, but still in walking distance.
So finally, what kind of advice you give to the students who are planning to come for fall 2024?
Yeah, I just think they should consider us. So we're not Harvard or Yale, or we're not Berkeley in California, but we do provide high quality, world class academics at a fraction of the cost that most American universities can provide. We also can provide that American university educational experience that many international students have seen in movies and TV shows.
Right.
It's active and dynamic and fun. We offer Division I sports. We offer over 300 different clubs on campus. Campus has a really nice vibe that's very welcoming and friendly, inclusive. We are very, very diverse. We have a black man that's president of the university.
Okay.
We have around 800 international students. We're 35% African American students, 10% Latino, 5% Asians. So the mixture on campus is good. They're young people. They're all getting along. It's just an exciting, wonderful atmosphere. I love coming on campus because you really feel that, that wonderful feeling of inclusivity.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for joining
A
today.
real pleasure.
And we had a very great session with all the required information, right from the requirements, tuition fee, and it's great to know that you offer good scholarships also. So that's it for today, guys. So hope we'll come with another insightful session in the future. And if you're planning for fall 2024, don't miss to call in the number given in the description so that our counselors will call you back and give you the required information. Thank you.
Thank you.